Rev up your engines!
Well, the evil car manufacturers are at it again. As car prices keep rising, guess what they're doing now? They're increasing the destination charge. You can't buy the car without paying the destination charge, because that's a destination charge from the factory to the dealership that you're buying it at. And it's getting so high, on so many Jeeps now, it's $2,000. That's their destination fee, right? Like it cost them $2,000 to ship it to their stuff. Nonsense. They ship them on the trains, they ship them on big car carriers. It doesn't cost that kind of money. It's just another way to screw their customers over. On those Jeeps in 2016, they charged $995 as a destination charge. Now it's $2,000. Well, I don't think inflation has gone that high in anything, you know. But they can get away with it. What do we care? But if you care, don't buy them. Ask them, what's the destination fee? That's too much. I'm going to a place that has better cars at better prices. Just let them. They got wiggle room for different things. If they charge you a fee, whatever. If they take the money off of something else, what do you care? All you care about is the money you actually pay them. They're getting enough money as it is. As it stands, it's the highest ever. The average cost getting a new car in the United States is now $46,000. $46,036 to be exact. And here's what a Jeep dealer says about it. This is what scumbag these people are. Most of the time, consumers don't even see it because it's embedded in the invoice. In my experience, it's very rarely an issue. Yeah, ask a sales guy, you know? All they do is sell stuff. They'll tell you all the lies in the world to get your money. Oh, nobody even notices it. We'll just stick it on the back end, you know? Because when I was young, people would sell cars. They say, you get a free color TV when you buy this car. You get a free TV. People are so stupid, they don't think that, well, you know, every month I pay another $5 or something, and it pays for the color TV in the end, right? I notice. A lot of people notice. And they're not all as greedy as Jeep. BMW, for example, they've frozen their destination charge at $995 for quite some time. Lexus, Infiniti, Mercedes-Benz, they've pretty much followed the regular inflation, not this insane thing that Jeep has done. But Jeep, hey, they're greedy. Seems with Stellantis, they're getting even greedier. From 2011 to 2020, Jeep and Chrysler, they put their destination charge up 90% in those years. Okay, so it's saying from 2011 to 2020, there was 90% inflation, which is a load of baloney, right? They're just looking for an extra way to charge you more money. Just like many of the government places just charge you tax for whatever. They just make up tax fees. In the old days when we had landline phones, if you looked at the bill, there would be like 46 charges for stuff that nobody has any idea what they do, but they were all merely taxes. And this is a dealer taxing you like it's a fiefdom. It's their fiefdom. So you want to drive their car, they're going to tax you more. Too bad, yeah? Poo on Jeep, that's all I got to say. Don't buy one and get even with them. Car Geek Louie says, my vehicle's stalling out. I got a 2015 Chevy with 75,000 miles. Whenever I slow down, feel the engine shake, 2 times it stalls out. Check engine lights on. Can you help me? Always get it scanned. There are hundreds of possible trouble codes that make the check engine light comment. Often show you what the problem is. Get it scanned. You can go to places, AutoZone, Riley, whatever. They scan them free in most places. I guess in California they can't now because they have so many rules in California. It's amazing. They still let people breathe there without passing some tests. Get it scanned somewhere. Get the codes. Send me the codes. Tell you what the codes mean. Most people will tell you what the codes mean. If it's something that's simple, like it might say idle air control valve problem, then you could clean it with some spray throttle cleaner. Maybe it's sticking. Could be a lot of things. You need the code, have people look at it. Just because it's often a vacuum leak or a dirty throttle, check for vacuum leaks, with idling, see if any hoses are cracked, falling off. Also check for dirty throttles. The throttle, you take the air filter, rubber, plastic assembly off, and on the engine, it's the big throttle where the air goes in. If it's all covered with carbon, you can clean it with spray throttle cleaner. I got a video on that. Make your car run better with a little spray cleaner, Scotty. You can do that yourself. Get the code first, because it'll give you a pretty good idea of what system is going out. And anybody with a scan tool can do it, or get a scan tool yourself. Even a $20 scan tool will show you what the check engine light means. My Kia 3933 says, what do you think about rebuilding salvage title cars for profit? I know you say don't buy salvage cars, but there's guys that fix them. Can you actually make money doing that? Well, of course you can make money doing it, because when a car's totaled, it's totaled by an insurance companies, right? And half the time these days, they don't have their own agents come out. It's just a guy comes out. I've asked people when customers told me their cars, they said, can you deal with the insurance adjuster? I said, sure, tow the car over. Tow the car over. The guy will come over and I'll say first, now you don't work for the company, like say it's State Farm. You don't work for State Farm. No, I'm an independent guy. I said, well, what do they pay you for doing this? He said, they pay me like $40 to come out here and give the estimate. And often they will total a car when it doesn't need to be totaled, and then guys will buy it, fix it and sell it. You can make money that way. I've had people here in Rhode Island bring me beautiful cars. The guy even showed them. Here's before it was wrecked. We fixed it. Here it is. And they buy it from those guys. And those guys made money because even if they're just making the money that a body shop makes, it's a lot of money. Let's say it had $10,000 worth of damage. That's the cost to you to go to a shop. Those shops can get parts from China, Taiwan. Metal's metal. Who cares where it's stamped out? And then spray paint it. Looks perfectly fine. They might make $5,000 profit on a job. If they fix it themselves and then sell you the car and make $5,000, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So it can be done. But if you're thinking about doing it yourself as a private individual, you might think twice because there's so many liabilities involved. You sell a car to somebody that you bought wrecked and fixed it. Let's say the airbags didn't work and they got killed. They could turn around, they could sue you. You didn't fix the airbags, and that would be the end of you. You would be in so much debt because they could sue you for millions. So doing something like that for a living, I'd kind of stay back from that. I wouldn't want to get involved in that kind of stuff. Xander 916 says I got 2013 Lexus RX 350, 63,000 miles on perfectly dry weather. The brakes were intermittently grind on the last few feet of the stop. What could be wrong? Well, what you first want to do is take the wheels off, look at the brake pad. If they're thin, the pad part material, there's steel, then there's a pad. If the pad's thinner than, say, a dime or a nickel, replace the pads. They're wearing out. They're starting to hit. Now, let's say they're really thick. Cars will often do that when they have a cheaper brake pad material. If you had cheaper brake pads put on, they'll often make some noise when you come to a stop because the rotors are steel. Steel rust just driving around, and that wipes the rust off, and you get a little bit of grindy noise. But look first. If it's thin, it's time for new pads, right? And look at the rotors. If they're scored and they have marks on them, you got to replace them too. Don't ever turn them. You can't turn them. They're all cheaper made, even in a Lexus. If you turn them, they'll just warp even faster. If it all looks okay, but it makes that noise, doesn't mean anything. Just normal. But do take them off, see how thick they are, and then you'll know. Parking lot mechanic said, should I fix the exhaust manifold on my '05 Ford Freestar? Is it worth fixing? It's at 210,000 miles. Well, what is it worth for you? If you're lucky, the exhaust manifold goes down to the collector pipe. And the very bottom, it's got a donut where the exhaust bolts on the pipe. A lot of times those donuts go bad. Donuts cost like $5 to $8. Take it off, put a new donut on, away you go. If it's the gasket, you got to take the whole exhaust manifold off. It's a little bit more work, but it can be done. Now let's say your exhaust manifold itself is cracked. They're made out of cast iron, they will crack. You can look around, there's companies like Dorman that have aftermarket ones that cost a small fraction of what the dealer ones do. And if you're willing to spend that kind of money, to ask a mechanic what he charges to put it on, maybe it's worth it. I mean, if the car's falling apart, I wouldn't bother. But if it still runs okay and you're using it for, a knock-around car, go right ahead. Just realize it's a Ford Freestar. They only last so long. You don't want to put a whole bunch of money into it. You might be getting another car soon anyways, and I'd just say forget it and go trade it in or sell it or whatever. If it's your knock-around car and you don't use it hardly at all, you can just live with it, drive it around, Then when it finally does go out, just junk the car if you don't want to put any money into it. As long as it runs okay. You get a leak in the manifold. A lot of times they'll run decent. They might be a little bit off at idle, but they'll run okay otherwise. Check out this F750 cruiser camper this guy built. Peter Dunkel made it. He's a rich guy. He's got a big company. And he called it the F750 World Cruiser. He claims he put $6 million into it, but at least it shows that people haven't lost their minds entirely. Who's going to pay $6 million for an F750 camper? Yeah, it's big, but $6 million is $6 million, right? Now, he says he put $6 million of work and technology into it, but he put it at an auction, at the Mecom auction, and they thought, it might go between $450,000 and $650,000. Guess what? It didn't sell, and the highest bid was just a little over $50,000. So people haven't gone totally insane. I paid that kind of money for something. The guy said he put $6 million into it, right? But he's willing to sell it for $500,000, and he only gets offered $50,000, so he doesn't sell it. That did have a 66-gallon tank. Cost you a lot of money to fill that baby up. And he tore the Ford motor out and put a Caterpillar diesel that, even though it was only 300 horsepower, it's like 1,200 pound-feet of torque. Those big diesel engines have a lot of torque for pulling things around. But thank goodness some fool didn't pay much money for this thing. Him claiming it was worth $6 million, and they didn't even get offered over $50,000. There's only so much money people are going to pay for a camper on wheels. Come on now. That's why I make fun of some of these really cute ones that are out there. And then you look at it and say, gee, that loaded camper that you tow behind your house, costs. It's $70,000. Who on earth is paying this money for these things? In this case, he couldn't even get $50 for the whole truck with all the camper thing built on it. It looks interesting, but hey, there were no fools, no takers to pay that kind of money for that thing, which is a good lesson for anybody. Do not put a ton of money into any vehicle and then think you're going to sell it and make money, because you're always going to lose. I've seen people put 10 grand into an old Cadillac and then they get 3 for it years later when they don't use it, doesn't run right. They threw all their money away. It's not a good investment. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.